If you are looking to build a new PC and you have around $2,000 to spend, you can get a system that achieves great gaming and content creation performance. I'll show you the best all-around $2,000 PC build for 4K resolution, and you can also use it for 1440p very high FPS. By the way, everything's set to high or ultra settings, and on top of that, every component is compatible with each other with no bottlenecks. The links to this PC and its alternatives will be down below in the video description with the latest prices and availability in your region. My name is Valentino. That being said, let's start. I will start by talking about the main computer, and this one has the Ryzen 9 7900X CPU alongside the RTX 4080 Super graphics card. Now, for those who don't know, the Ryzen 9 7900X is one of the best CPUs if you want to do gaming, productivity work, and content creation at the same time. In terms of gaming, it's one of the fastest ones in the market, and in high CPU demanding games like esports games, let's say Valorant, CS2, Fortnite, competitive settings, you will be achieving very high FPS, so you can easily fit a high refresh rate 4K or 1440p monitor. So if you want to buy a 360Hz 1440p one or a 240Hz 4K monitor, feel free to buy one because you will be able to take full advantage of it because this CPU is that fast. It has 12 cores and it is designed to be a complete beast for any task that you want. And then the second component that's very important in terms of performance is the graphics card or GPU. Now, this one is the 4080 Super, and I will be talking about the exact level of performance that you can achieve at different resolutions in just a moment. But before doing that, I want to show you the rest of the components because these are quite important, since if you get them wrong, you are going to be bottlenecking your CPU and GPU combo, and trust me, you do not want to do that. So before showing you any level of performance, I need to show you the rest of the components. Here for the CPU cooler, you get a 360 all-in-one liquid cooler with RGB. It's beautiful and it's going to be amazing to cool down the Ryzen 9 7900X, which is not the most power efficient CPU out there, so you will actually need a big cooler like this one. In my opinion, it is one of the best price to performance ones because it's definitely not the most expensive one, but it looks amazing and it's going to get the job done. Then for the motherboard, you get the Gigabyte B650 Eagle AX, which is one of the best value motherboards out there for any CPU from the AM5 platform, and it is very upgradable over time, meaning that if you want to upgrade your CPU down the line to newer CPUs from AMD, you will be able to do so without having to replace your motherboard, which is a huge plus. Then you get 32 gigs of DDR5 memory. Now this is fast speeds, 6000 MHz. Most people do not understand megahertz and timing, so don't worry about those numbers. The most important part that you need to know is that having 32 gigs of DDR5 memory, especially fast memory, is going to be ideal for streaming, content creation, and also for gaming. Getting anything more than 32 gigs of RAM is not going to benefit you in terms of gaming performance, but if you are a professional content creator and you need more RAM, then you may consider 64 gigs of RAM. However, for most people, 32 gigs of RAM is going to be plenty and way more than enough. Then for the storage, you get 2 TB of Gen 4 SSD, so you get plenty of storage for gaming. So if you want to install multiple games, 2 TB is ideal, and you also get plenty of storage for content creation. But as I said before, if you're a professional content creator, you may need more storage depending on your workloads, so you may consider 4 TB or even 6 TB depending on how heavy your projects are going to be. And now let's talk about the graphics card and the level of performance that you can expect. As I said before, you get the RTX 4080 Super, which is one of the best graphics cards in the entire market in terms of gaming performance. In fact, you will be achieving really high frame rates at 4K ultra settings in high demanding games, over 80 FPS native resolution, which is a very high number considering I'm talking about the highest demanding games out there. And then since you get an NVIDIA GPU, you get a really good level of ray tracing performance, and you get DLSS, which is the upscaler from NVIDIA and works better than the upscaler from AMD. So if you want to turn on DLSS in high demanding games while you play with ray tracing enabled for you to achieve a smoother level of performance, it's going to look amazing because the image quality from DLSS is just top tier, especially at 4K resolution. And if you want to play at 1440p, you will not need to turn on DLSS at all because the 4080 Super is a beast of a 1440p graphics card. And even though 4K resolution is ideal if you want the best visuals, if you want the best price to performance, 1440p is the best resolution and you will be achieving higher frame rates. In fact, you will be achieving over 140 FPS on average from the 4080 Super in high demanding games high to ultra settings. So for esports shooters, I already told you, you will be able to max out any monitor refresh rate because you get one of the fastest CPUs in the entire market for both gaming and content creation. However, I will show you an alternative CPU that's going to be better for gaming, especially if you are not really into content creation. And I will also show you a cheaper graphics card alternative that will give you basically the same or even better level of performance at a cheaper price if you just want to do purely gaming. So stay tuned because I will be talking about that in just a second after talking about the airflow from this system. The airflow from this system is top tier because you get one of the best premium quality value cases in the entire market in the Montech Sky 2 GX. I've been recommending this case for a while now. It has 3 pre-installed RGB fans, plenty of airflow because of that front mesh panel. So overall, in my opinion, this is the perfect case at this price point. And last but not least, we have the power supply. Here you need a capable A-tier rated power supply. So I went with the NZXT C1000. This is a 1000 watt power supply that's going to be ideal for this system. So you don't have to worry about your PC randomly shut down or anything like that because this is going to be the perfect power supply. Now, the total price for this exact same system is 2,045 bucks. And remember that maybe when you're watching this, the price is different because honestly, prices for these components change almost every single day. So if you want to check the latest prices and availability in your region, remember that those links will be down in the video description. And let me show you some alternatives that might be better in terms of price to performance depending on your needs. If you want to do gaming first and you don't really care as much for content creation, then I recommend you getting the Ryzen 7 7800X3D, which by the time of filming is the fastest gaming CPU in the entire market. So if you play high CPU demanding games and you really need those higher frame rates, the 7800X3D is going to be faster than the 7900X, especially at 1440p resolution or 1080p if you want to compete in esports shooters. Now, this CPU is quite more expensive, but it's also more power efficient. So here I went with a 240 all-in-one liquid cooler, which is going to be way more than enough for this Ryzen 7, and an 850 watt power supply instead of 1000 because it's going to consume less energy. So you definitely do not need 1000 watts. So the total price with this Ryzen 7 processor is going to be slightly more expensive at 2,075 bucks, but it is going to be a better option if you play high CPU demanding games, as I said before. However, it is also very good for content creation and productivity work. It's just not as good as the 7900X. So if content creation is something very important to you, I still recommend you going with the last option. And then if you are purely focused on gaming performance and you do not want to turn on ray tracing or DLSS, I recommend you considering another graphics card instead of the 4080 Super, and I recommend you getting the RX 7900 XTX from AMD, which is going to be around $150 cheaper and it's going to give you slightly faster performance on average in native resolution. So you can expect 90 plus FPS instead of 85 plus FPS from the 4080 Super. So you spend less money and you receive faster performance. And with this graphics card, you also get the Ryzen 7 7800X3D. So you get one of the fastest CPU and GPU combos in the entire market, and the price is actually cheaper. The total price by the time of filming for this PC is going to be around 1950 bucks. So you save up some money, get better gaming performance, native resolution. So big thumbs up. However, keep in mind that if you really want the NVIDIA feature set, meaning that you want a graphics card that's better for content creation and productivity work for the most part, and then you also want to turn on ray tracing or you want the better upscaler, then by all means spend the extra and go for the 4080 Super. Also, the Ryzen 7 9800X3D is right around the corner, so if that one is better value than the Ryzen 7 7800X3D, I will leave it down in the video description with the latest prices and availability. However, if it's not better value, I will still leave the 7800X3D down below. And if you found valuable information, subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you get notified when I upload new content and you get to learn more about computers. I am giving away my PC help basically for free. That's going to be the top link in the description. Thank you for watching and I will see you on the next one.